Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Let's talk about why you must store rice differently. Do you think of your survival pantry as safe and it has long-lasting capabilities to feed and protect your family? And that can be true, and rice is fabulous food to have on hand. You can buy it in all kinds of different size bags, bring it home, and store it away. But the thing you must remember is that white rice and brown rice cannot be stored the same way. If you store white rice and brown rice the same way, you could have a ticking time bomb of spoiled and rotten food. White rice is fantastic. It can last nearly forever. You just need to put it away in an airtight container. But brown rice has natural oils in it, and the oils will go rancid. You cannot store brown rice away for the longest lasting forever food. It's just not possible because the oil is going to go rancid. You could then go to your pantry and the only thing you have left is brown rice. You think you're going to be able to make a meal and count on having food, and then you don't because it is rancid, as rotten, and then you may not have a way to feed your family. Don't store all grains equally. You can store white rice away in an airtight container. It can last for 30 years, maybe even longer. If you want to store your white rice, you can put it into a clean canning jar. You can vacuum seal the lid. You can put it in a Mylar bag, use an oxygen absorber, put it into a 5-gallon bucket, and you can just even store it into smaller containers right in your pantry. But the more airtight you store your white rice, the longer it's going to last. With all of your food, the better you store it, the longer it's going to last. So you want to store it airtight, cool, dark, and dry for it to last the longest. Rice is also a food that you can buy from the LDS or the Mormon Church. It's already sealed in a number 10 can. It can last for 30 years or more. When you order rice or other foods from the LDS Church, it comes in a box of 6 of the exact same foods. And then they're already prepared, they're sealed up properly, that you can count on them lasting the longest, so you could set them away in your longest lasting food storage stockpile. We want our brown rice to last as long as possible, but it doesn't have the capability to last as long as white rice simply because of the hidden natural oils. So what you want to remember about brown rice is, yes, store it in an airtight container, but you need to rotate it, use it up, and then replace it within about 6 months to a year. It's just not going to last longer than that. The natural oils are just going to become rancid. But that's how we have the best working pantry. We work our way through it. We have our foods that can last the longest, but we can still use, rotate, and replace those. But then something like brown rice, you need to use, rotate, and replace it, and then be concerned that you are doing it in a reasonable amount of time. Nobody wants to waste their grocery dollars on foods that can't last. Nobody wants to throw away food, and you also don't want to store food that nobody is going to be able to eat. So it's very important that we learn the proper ways to store all of our different kinds of foods. We want to follow safety protocols so that we know that our food will be edible, it will be healthy, and we will be able to feed and nourish ourselves and our families with foods that we stored properly. Let's look at white rice. We can look at the nutritional information on the packet. It will tell us that a serving of rice is 1/4 cup of dried rice. Then when you cook it, that 1/4 cup becomes a 1/2 cup of rice, because we know that when we add the water and we cook it, the rice doubles in size. So if you want to plan on how much rice you would need, something to think about is what size serving are you intending to have. Most of us eat at least a 1/2 cup of rice, but if you're serving it as just a little side portion in a meal, you could probably serve a 1/4 cup. Say you were going to make some rice and you wanted to add it into tacos or fajitas, or roll it up with something that it's just a portion of that meal, then you could plan on cooking 1/4 cup of cooked rice per person. But if you're going to be serving things like meats and sauces, chili, burrito bowls, risotto, coconut curry, things you would serve over the rice, where rice is a major part of your meal, you need to plan on at least a 1/2 cup of rice per person. But that, to me, is still the minimum amount, because I know people in my family generally eat more than that. So I try to prepare more than a 1/2 cup of rice per person when I'm serving meals to my family. For one thing, we can put it in the refrigerator and we can have it for leftovers. Or we don't worry that somebody goes hungry because we didn't prepare a little more rice. It's certainly going to be more economical to have extra rice on hand than to have extra, say, beef to pour over your rice. So think about rice as also a way that you can stretch your budget, stretch your meals, make them bigger, better, and more filling. How much rice should you store for long term so that you have enough food to feed your family no matter what the future holds? You should probably try to think about 3 months worth, which I think I would recommend 20 to 25 pounds of rice per person. Rice is not expensive. It can last the very longest. It's simple to prepare. As long as you have fresh drinking water and a way to boil it, you can make a big pot of rice and you can serve all kinds of things over it to make a bigger, better meal and to fill up your little tummies in your family. That may seem like a lot of rice to buy at one time, but if you go to the store, sometimes you can find a 2-pound bag, a 5-pound bag, a 20-pound bag, and just buy the amount that you can afford. You should have a budget for your groceries so that you know how much to spend and what food you can purchase for your week and month ahead. It's also important that we have a budget for some prepping supplies, for some emergency food, a little bit extra, so that when we go to the store, maybe we have $100 to spend this week, but then we want to buy a few extra cans. If it's not within your grocery budget to have a few extra things to put aside, that's when you need to budget to have a little bit extra, maybe $5 a week, so that you can add to your prepper pantry. That's my recommendation, and that's how I do it. When you figure out the foods that you commonly use, and say you normally use 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup, the next time you go to the store, rather than just buying the 2 you know you'll use, maybe buy 4 so that you'll have the 2 to use and 2 to store away in your pantry. And as you load up on the ingredients that you commonly use, that's how you end up having extra foods that you know how to use them, you know you like them, and then you'll be able to actually use, rotate, and replace those foods because they're foods that you enjoy eating. If you don't eat sardines, don't get extra cans of those. They're going to sit in the back of your pantry. You've wasted your grocery dollars, and then you have food nobody wants to eat. So think about the choices that you're making. Don't just buy food because it's cheap, it's long lasting, or someone else said it should be in your pantry. You want to have extras of foods that you actually do eat. You know how to cook it, and you're willing to use, rotate, and replace. That's the key to having a successful pantry. So look over your rice in your pantry and your stockpile and make sure that your food is stored as airtight as possible, cool, dark, and dry, and that you're rotating that brown rice. Nobody wants to come home and find that the food isn't edible anymore. That would be a real disaster. Leave in the comments below, what are some recommendations of recipes that you make using basic foods like rice? There's so many ways we can jazz it up so that we can make bigger, better, interesting meals. Stretch our food dollars and keep our families fed at the same time. If you shop on Amazon, if you click on my link in the description box below before you shop, it doesn't cost you anymore, and it can add a little bit of revenue that helps support my channel. I hope you'll like my video, share it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.